cloud adoption takes place. That's our belief.
I want to throw a question to the public. If they have got any question from the SME sector, how fast they want to implement their corporate into the cloud services. Any question?
Thank you very much. Well, I don't have a question in context to what you had asked. Before that, Pannel was speaking about feasibility of a firewall during your speech 10 minutes back. So I have a question in regards to my business. I started this company 2 years back. It's still a baby. We are a team of about 23 people. We are a search engine marketing company, basically. So I have my team who would reach out to hundreds of websites in the countries where we have our clients to do submissions. Now, let's say I have a client in Canada, so he would try and reach out to different article submission directories, social bookmarks, press release websites. The firewall that I use is that of Quick Heal. It simply throws a message on the bottom right saying this site is vulnerable and access is denied. Now, from my business sense, I understand that a website which has a high page rank is definitely going to give me a good link back for my client's website, and that is what I need at the end of the day. So, checkpoint that we were discussing, I'm not a technical guy, I'm just trying to understand if it can help me address the problem that I'm facing.
So let me make it more relevant to you. See, your case is very, very unique, and that is what we are saying, that security is not about technology, it is about the business. Okay, now your business case is that you have to actually go to those websites, which is typically known as non-secure or risk or vulnerable sites, right? But you cannot do your business without going to them. Am I right? Is my understanding right?
Essentially, yeah.
So now the security has to adapt you, and you have to see that what security controls are you deploying. So today with Checkpoint, if you take, there's a component called Web Check, which is basically a design to your kind of environment where you can take that particular component, and the moment you go on any website, it creates a sandbox for you, okay? Which means that even if you're silently downloading any such things which is maybe harmful, it will be downloaded into a temporary space, okay? And it will not allow your operating system kernel access to that. Which means that you can continue surfing that, get the information, ensuring your machines are not getting infected due to whatever drive-by downloads or other kind of attacks which can come in. So those controls are typically the controls which you have to look into your environment, because you really cannot say that I want to block these things because it's your business case, correct?
Right. So do you, are you saying that I get a message suggesting it's going to be an exception to the
no, that is something you will not, you don't have to worry. The moment you go to any surfing, your user will always get a temporary partition where he can keep going and doing everything, whatever. And even if he gets some message and which is by courtesy of in browser or blah blah blah, you can choose to whatever do. But end of the day, whatever is getting downloaded onto your system is not getting infected because it is a temporary partition. So that's the technology angle. But what we are trying to say that you have to design your security policy based on your business need. And the typical rigid systems will not solve your problem. If I tell you take my firewall, it will solve your problem, I am sure it will not. And I am 100% sure any firewall will not solve your problem. We can only tell you some discrete access by URL filtering or application control, access this, access not. But your kind of business, you really cannot know. You cannot say that I will not access certain things, right? So the only way you can solve this problem is to make some provisions for your people to go there, but ensuring that they do not infect your systems. Now,
yeah, just to add to it, in fact, nowadays talking of a website, so it's not a single page. We talk of a Web 2.0 technology, wherein a single page may have different application content, right? A single page may have an advertisement running, and may have some spyware kind of activity having within the page, right? So when we talk of a application-based filtering, what we do is basically within that page we can just deny those applications which are not needed kind of stuff. So that's how it is, and as he rightly said, it is totally up to you how you configure it, right? If you want to allow such sites, you can allow it. But then you have to ensure that at either an endpoint level or at the firewall level, you are ensuring that it is not affecting the system. Right.
So bringing it back to the cloud, some views what you were asking, that whether adopting a cloud will actually bring down the hardware sales and stuff like that. Our take and whatever we are seeing, because we are working with a lot of cloud service providers across the world. and we have our own cloud offerings in terms of security. What we have seen that this entire fact of the cloud is there to enable the business, as Sir said very clearly. The end of the day, bottom line is the business. And it is geared up to enable you to do your business more effectively in lesser cost. What it means that you will grow your business. Once you grow your business, you will be more and more taken for IT, right? So it is that cycle. If we, it is not that it is not the hardware versus cloud and stuff like that, which is, I'm sure HCL and other cloud vendors who are providing these services, the main objective is to give the better services at lesser cost, so then SMEs can actually take advantage of that and grow their business to the next level. Wherein they might talk, today they might talk about public cloud, tomorrow they might talk about hybrid cloud, where certain critical application they want to put it in their environment, and day after tomorrow they might be so big that they can afford the private cloud, or like Sir is saying, the jet, owning the jet, right? So it totally depends upon all offerings which we are given. All vendors who are working today on the cloud side are working for ensuring that you get the better services on the affordable cost to grow your business. What is more important to know here is to have intelligence that how those services are going to be delivered, and what are your end SLAs you're going to get, and how can you control those SLAs without being at the mercy of the service provider once you give the outsourced contract. So that is very, very important to learn as a customer.
I think what he said is very relevant. Let me tell you, of course, it's a ballpark figure. 90% of the startups we see, especially coming from urban areas, are technology startups. So they're pretty tech savvy, at least more than me. So pretty tech savvy. What happens is that we don't have a data, we call it control data. As a matter of fact, I just got a McKinsey report. The US also doesn't have a data as to how many of these startups don't really come to the market, which we should have. That data, we are trying to get into that mode where we have that data. What I would suggest to my friends here who are into these applications and cloud computing vendors, that if they can make a situation which is a win-win situation, where a startup can sit with them and do a financial analysis as to whether that guy is going to save money, not maybe immediately, say 6 months down the line or a year down the line. And the vendor also genuinely tries to see that he saves money. I think we'll go a long way. I think that's needed, I appreciate that everybody is looking for money, but let's understand one thing, that money alone can't reach you to the moon. You need something much more. So it is what we are now calling across the world is called co-incubation. It has just started in Silicon Valley. I just got a report, it has just started, where people are trying to reach out to the other guy, which they were not trying to. As a matter of fact, even today, IP has become such a serious thing that people don't want to talk to you. I mean, literally. I mean, I was in Leuven a few days back, and they wouldn't tell me what is the area they're getting collaborated into. So, but I think that has to change, and it is changing. And I'll request my colleagues here to look at it from that point of view. And then if, you see, if we can have, it's very difficult to give numbers of successful startups, but if we can have that feel-good factor in startups, where they say, no, vendors also help us, it is a great ecosystem.
Well said, sir. I think very, very valid point. Fantastic takeaway for many of us here. Something like ROI as a service, maybe initially till people catch on to it, it could be offered at no cost, because ultimately if that ROI is really working out, it will result in business, and which can result in a win-win situation for the startup company as well. So we are taking that input very positively and see how best we can quickly put up some kind of an ROI calculator or a ROI tool, more of a generic template which can be made available on the cloud, especially for startups.
One more important thing, if you see a startup, when we say a real startup, how many people we are having? 10, 15, 20, 25, 30? Do you really need an applications which is HRM and all that? Because I have seen a lot of big organizations grown in garage culture, right? Where the few people started the company and they were having excellent ideas, excellent team, and they actually grown from there. So the point is that what you will go in cloud. So maybe when you are very startup, the only application you need is mailing to enable your business. Now that is already matured in the cloud. Mailing application outsourcing is already matured in the cloud. Okay, there are a standard set of SLAs which you can easily avail at the time of cloud. When you go further to the next level and then you have some more dependency on IT, possibly you can look upon that. But important is to develop that culture of co-collaboration and have that in the DNA that how we operate our business. And as sir said that it is more of a culture that how we analyze things in our organization, whether it's IT or financial aspect. Any questions or
any other questions from the audience?
I have to parameterize that what is my security level of the data that I put on the ERP that is being hosted on the cloud. How do I know physically that how secure my data is, except for the writing SLAs and word of mouth promises? How do I know physically how secure it is?
Okay. Typically, all these service providers, cloud service providers especially, will have third-party certifications of their infrastructure. So all your ISO 27001, which is information security, ISO 20000, which is for IT process systems and process management, things like that. Then you have for larger, real large data centers, SAS 70 kind of certifications, which are done by independent third party. They have well-defined methodologies, plenty of knowledge is available on the web on what is the methodology, what all they look for, and which all categories of service provider sites will actually qualify for these certifications. That's more from the generic process side. In addition to that, every service provider will be able to share with you while you negotiate with them for putting up your application on cloud, on what are the various categories of securities that they offer, right from authentication, authorization, accounting, filtering, web security, identity and access management, antivirus, anti-star, I call it, anti-spyware, anti-phishing, etc., etc. So those are from the information infrastructure layer. The process layer takes care by third-party certification. Information infrastructure layer, the service provider will be articulate through the tools. If you are still not satisfied, you are free to visit the centers or maybe ask for a dummy access to see yourself, or maybe you can take along a trusted person whom you feel knows more about security, ask them to check out there are so many tools available using, you can check out how secure a particular site is or how secure a particular system is. So that probably will cover. Plus when you visit, you meet the people, you will know whether people are actually following the processes and procedures that are laid out as part of such things. So people, process, technology, all three can be covered in these three different areas. Anything more to add?
In addition to that, you can always ask for a visibility because business you are doing, right? Compliance, like medicine companies have their own compliance, financial company has their own regulations to do. There are a lot of things in contractual stages which you can do, and that's where to understand your business, need of an IT, and compliances, the cost of doing business in terms of regulations and other stuff, and make your contractual obligation in such a way that they are all met and you get the visibility end of the day what's happening. And hence ensuring that what you want is what you get. And as I said, the more you move into the cloud, your typical day-to-day job will not be to manage an IT, but to manage a project. So your organization will become a project management organization. So you have to develop your skills there, because now you have outsourced things to others, now you have to manage your setup, right? How can you actually be the more efficient your project management team will become with the cloud service provider, the more you can come out of the real situation of the cloud, or get the real benefit out of the cloud.
Last but not the least, the cost of doing all these security audit, checking, etc. should not be costlier than the information that you are trying to protect. Then it's of no use. To the ROI that sir said some time back. So look at ROI in this aspect as well. And yes, you just do the base adequate audit required to protect whatever information, value that information is for you. Any other questions? In the interest of time, I think we would like to conclude here, and maybe we can continue our continuing discussions offline over lunch. I think it is already, we don't want to come in the way between lunch and all of you. Thank you very much for all the participants and all the audience here for patient hearing and a participative session. You all enjoyed and had some solid takeaways from this entire session. Thank you.